Hi folks, this is Danny Richmond here with part 2 of how to build a GPT-3 powered app in WordPress without using any code. So if you haven't already done so, do go and watch part 1 of this tutorial, which will take you through the steps of how to create the form and make the API call to OpenAI. In this second part, we are going to create the WordPress page in which we're going to insert the form, and then we're just going to kind of finish off some form settings that we're going to need. Okay, so in WordPress, if you go to Pages and then go to Add a New Page, I'm just going to go and do this in a new window here. So we're going to go and create a new page now. On your WordPress website, it may look a little bit different from here. I've got a whole load of kind of different blocks that are determined by the templates I use. Yours may look slightly different, but don't worry about that. Give your page a name. So I'm just going to call it OpenAI Demo 3. I've already created a few here. Now, if you remember on the demo I showed you before, let me just bring that up. So yeah, on this demo I showed you earlier, you can see that this page doesn't have all of the kind of the normal elements that are in my standard WordPress template. So there's no header on the page, there's no footer on the page. So if you want a kind of a clean, simple UI that doesn't include all those elements, then what I suggest you do is when you go and create the page here, download a little plugin which is called Blank Slate, and that creates a new template for you, which then just kind of removes all those elements from the page, just kind of gives you that clean page. So just make sure if you want that, select Blank Slate. If you want to have your header and your footer and all those other elements on the page, then just use the standard template that you would normally use. Once we've done that, just go down to the text editor in your WordPress page and switch into text view. And then go and grab some HTML code that I'm going to give you on the post that goes along with this video, and just paste that HTML into this text editor here. What that's going to do is it's going to insert a table, which just makes it a little bit easier to format the way the form will appear on the page, create some margins and allow you to add a header. And also just makes it very responsive. So if somebody's using it on a mobile device, it will just kind of adapt to that size. If we switch back over to visual view, what you can see here is we've got a header, so you can just change that heading to something that's more relevant for whatever app you're creating. I'm just going to leave that as OpenAI demo for now. And then this is the shortcode that inserts the gravity form into this page. Now, you're going to need to change this number here because we've got a gravity form ID equals 45. So if you pop back over to your form, the gravity form that you created, and just go and have a look what the ID number is of your form. So in the one I just created, the ID is 46. So I need to just go and change that to 46. And I would also leave this as it stands, title equals false, which means it won't insert the title of the gravity form on this page here. Just another couple of settings. If we scroll down, there's a very good chance you've got Yoast installed on your WordPress website. This is an SEO plugin. Pretty much every WordPress website has Yoast installed. Now, if you don't want this page to be accessible by search engines, and you probably don't, because that means anyone can access this page and then start filling out the form and using up your API credits, which is going to cost you money. So go down to the advanced option here, and then where it says allow search engines to show this page in search results, say no. And where it says should search engines follow links on this page, say no. And that means this page will then not be accessible to Google or any other search engine. And the only way someone can access this page is from the URL that you supply to them. Okay, I think that's about it. Let me just publish this. Oh yeah, do make sure you give this page a useful name. So I'm going to just call this OpenAI Demo 3. So give the URL some meaningful name. I think that's it. We'll just click Publish here. There we go. And then we're just going to go and view that in our browser. Okay, so you can see that what I've got now is a nice clean page here. It doesn't have all the normal elements of the pages on my website. There's no header, no footer, or any of those kind of elements because I used that blank slate template that I mentioned. So let's give this a little test. So we're going to put in the sender name here. So I'm going to put in Danny, put in the recipient name here. I'm going to put in Sally. Relationship to recipient, I'm going to put in client. Oops. Message tone, I'm going to put friendly. And then message, hi, I will send you a letter next week. Press submit. Okay, so what has happened now is that form has submitted. It's sent the API request over to OpenAI. But what you can see has happened is it's now displaying this message. Thank you for contacting us. We will get in touch with you shortly. Now, that is the kind of the default behavior of Gravity Forms. So we now need to go and change that because what we actually want it to do is to take the response that we got from OpenAI, reload the page with the form, and display the response in that page here. So if you pop back to your form, this is my form here, I'm going to go into form settings. And what you want to do is pop over to confirmation. And then we're going to click to go and edit the default confirmation here. Now, at the moment, you can see that the confirmation type is set to text, and the text it displays is thank you for contacting us. We'll get in touch with you shortly. So we want to change that. So we need to change that to page. So rather than display a text message, we want it to display a page. And then select the page that you've just created. You should find it's at the top of your list if you have already published that page here. So just make sure it selects that page. Then we need to add some values into the query string. Now, if you're not familiar with query strings, you can actually see an example of a query string here. This is the information that's added on to a URL. So you can see here, this URL is SEO Training London, WP Admin, blah, 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 blah. And then you've got a question mark here with a whole load of text and numbers that follow that. That's the query string. And a query string is additional information in a URL that allows values to be passed back into that page. And so that's what we're going to do now is we're going to pass some field data. We're going to pass some values back into the page here. So the first thing we're going to add in here is RECD equals true. And I'll explain why we're doing that in a moment. So RECD equals true. And then an ampersand symbol here. And then response equals, and then we need to add the field which we created, which is AI response, which is where our OpenAI response is coming back to. So this is exactly how it should appear. And you want to get this exactly right, because if there's any typos here, then you're probably not going to get the results that you want. So it's RECD equals true, uppercase, then an ampersand, and then response equals, and then the field name of where the response is being sent to. So in this case, it's AI response 3, which is the name of that field there. I'll explain what that's doing in a moment. For now, we're just going to go and save that confirmation. Once you've done that, just go and do a double check. Pop back into your OpenAI settings here and click to edit that OpenAI feed. And just make sure, scroll down to where it says here, map results to field. And we want to make sure that in fact, this wasn't correct. You want to make sure that this is going to AI response, map result to field, AI response. That's going to hold the response that we get back from OpenAI. So let's just save that now. And then we're going to go and edit the form itself. Now, you can see that when we created this form, we had a hidden field at the top here with a default value of false. And once this form has been submitted, we want to change that value back to true. So you remember we're passing that value back in the query string. So what we need to do is just kind of go into the advanced settings here and make sure that you've got here allow field to be populated dynamically and a parameter name of RECD. So once that query string comes back, this is going to change that value to true. In this field here, which is the AI response field, you want to make sure that this says allow field to be populated dynamically with the parameter name of response. That's going to be the response we get back. And then you want conditional logic here, which says show this field if all of the following match. Response received, which is this field here, is true. And essentially all that's really doing is just making sure that the first time somebody uses this form, this field here is not displayed. We don't really want to show them a kind of an empty field with no results in there. Once we submit the form and then it comes back, the value in that query string is going to change this to true, and which that means that this field will then be displayed. Okay, so let's just go and save that form. And then we're just going to go and do another test of this. So let's go and open up our WordPress page and we're going to try it again. So we're going to go Danny, it's the sender's name, recipient, Sally, relationship to recipient client. And you'll remember I would actually recommend making this a drop-down list in Gravity Forms. The only reason I haven't done that is just to kind of save time in these videos here. But it'd be better if that was, the user could just select that from a drop-down list. Message tone here, friendly. Same with this field as well. I would make that a drop-down list. Hi, I will contact you next week. And then press submit, and fingers crossed this will hopefully give us the results that we want. Okay, so that form has been sent over, the value has been sent over to OpenAI, and you can see now that the AI response field is now displaying, and the reason it's displaying is because we've got true in the receive value on the query string here. And then you can see we've got this text editor here. Dear Sally, hi from Danny, I hope you're doing well. Just want to let you know I'll be in touch again next week. If you need anything in the meantime, please don't hesitate to contact me. Best wishes, Danny. And all of those values that we entered into the form, such as our relationship to the recipient, the tone of the message, have all influenced the way that GPT-3 has generated this message here. And if we want to send another one, if we want to generate another message here, we can just fill out this form again, press submit, it will reload the page with a new value, or with a new generated message at the top there. Now, the likelihood is you don't need an app to do this job. So, do adapt this to different use cases. Couple of other things I should mention. I'm not going to go through the steps in this video, but they're kind of nice add-ons. So I would recommend that you go and check out Gravity Perks. So yeah, Gravity Perks are a kind of a whole collection of add-ons for Gravity Forms that do lots of really useful things. Now, some of the things that you could add on, some of the perks that you could add on to your form, is one of the things you can do is you can have, they do a perk which is called reload form, which allows the form to be reloaded without doing a refresh, which is quite nice. They've also got a perk which is called GP post content merge tags. And what that will allow you to do is, rather than reloading the original form again, if you want to take a response from OpenAI and then go and use it on any WordPress page or post, which is a really great feature to have, it will allow you to do that just by putting in a little shortcode in the page. And the other add-on they have, which is really handy, is one called GP limit submissions. If you're making this accessible to people and you don't want them to be generating thousands of messages and using up all your OpenAI tokens, you can limit the number of submissions that any user can carry out. So you can set a maximum, and you can do that by their username or their IP address, many different ways. So do play around with some of those perks, which are really handy. I hope this is all clear. I'm going to write this all up in the post as well and give you all the additional resources that you need. And yeah, do get in touch with me on Twitter and let me know what you've built with this. All right, take care. Bye for now.